All right, Russell Wilson is a Denver Bronco.
That's right.
How does this impact Dynasty? How does it impact Dynasty for the Broncos weapons, for the Seahawks weapons? How does it impact Washington fans who are now diving into a deep depression knowing that Carson Wentz was the answer for them all along?
Oh, no.
What a sad day it is to be a Washington Commander fan. Yeah, you know what? I'm sad. I'm just going to throw it out there. But let's move on. I'm going to pretend like everything's okay. Let's talk about this trade for Dynasty purposes. I want to ask you a question, Badake.
Okay.
We're going to look at this for Dynasty. We're going to look at the weapons, how they changed with Russ in town over there in Denver. And I want to ask you, firstly, who is your biggest winner in Dynasty from this trade, from the Russell Wilson trade?
Yeah, for me, it definitely has to be Jerry Jeudy. I think that's the whole talk around the Dynasty community, around town. The guy that's going to benefit the most here is probably one of the youngest, most talented, underwhelming past 2 years wide receiver in Jerry Jeudy. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback he has had by miles, not a mile, miles.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
He started with Drew Lock and then Teddy B. He got hurt this past year. You know, his first year he struggled. Okay, the biggest concern was they needed a quarterback for these Denver Broncos. They didn't have a stable, a reliable, accurate quarterback. Now they have one of the most stable, reliable, and accurate quarterbacks in the league in Russell Wilson. So look, I'm excited for this connection to grow in this season. I'm excited for everything to continue to move forward, and I think we should be excited. Okay, but let's not forget what division they're in. Okay, because I think that's really important. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr. This is a really tough division, and this team needs to score. And who's going to be scoring? You hope that Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy are going to have a connection, and they will be the main two that's going to, you're going to see Jerry Jeudy be in the end zone a lot more if he can stay healthy and do everything moving forward. So my biggest winner, no doubt about it, is Jerry Jeudy out of all the wide receivers. You hope.
So where did he move for you in rankings?
For me, look, he still stayed at 19.
Wide receiver 19.
I have him as my wide receiver 19 in Dynasty, just because I can't justify moving him up right now. Maybe when we get close into the season, maybe when everything happens. But I like all the 18 players that I have before him. I think he was already there because that was his upside, even with a bad quarterback. I really liked where he's at right now, and I think that's pretty comfortable. And he's going to continue to rise in mock drafts and throughout the season. So I think he will rise as we get closer. But right now, 19 is where I'm comfortable.
He was my wide receiver 24, and I did move him up to be my wide receiver 18. And let's be honest. Maybe we should relook at that because getting Russell Wilson, he should probably change in your rankings a little bit, to be fair. By the way, Cortland Sutton, I think, is also a winner from this. You have to think about also the play style of Russ. I feel like maybe Sutton is a huge winner too. He's not that old. He's only 26.
No, for sure.
He more plays down the field. So I think Judy's a big winner. I think you can also argue that Sutton is as well. But I'm going to give you my biggest winner, and I think it's Javonte Williams. Look, Jerry Jeudy is a super, yes, that is probably number one choice. But also, I want to bring a different perspective.
Okay.
This really helps Javonte Williams. Think about it. When is Russell Wilson operating at his best? We know this. It's been like this for a decade. It's when the run is established, okay? He is one of the best play-action quarterbacks in the NFL, okay?
Yeah.
So the run is probably way, way more important than a lot of people might realize. I mean, let's go back to the year Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl, okay?
No.
When's the last time
really
he won
far.
the Super Bowl, which is what he's going to be trying to do here in Denver. That was in 2013. That was their Super Bowl run. Quick context, I know the NFL has changed since 2013, but just come on this journey with me for a second, okay? Marshawn Lynch was the running back. That year, he had the second most rushing attempts. He was first in goal line carries. He was second in red zone touches. He had over 1,200 rushing yards and 14 total touchdowns with a running back 4 finish.
Right.
Okay? And some people might be out there saying it is absolutely crazy for you to compare Marshawn Lynch and think that Javonte can do the same. If you're one of those people, we're not going to see eye to eye. I do think that Javonte Williams can finish as a top 5 running back this year with Russell Wilson under center. Okay, so you have to keep in mind, even if let's say even if he's not the talent of Marshawn Lynch, which I think that he is, there will be more scoring opportunities in this offense. Okay, last year Denver was 23rd in points per game. Okay, 23rd in points per game. So despite this terrible offense and sharing time with Melvin, Javonte was already 12th in goal line carries and 23rd in red zone touches. So is there a chance Melvin returns? Yeah, but he's going to have to take a team-friendly deal, which I don't know that he wants. He's also going to have to take a back seat. Let's just be honest, okay? Also keeping in mind that Denver's defense gave up the second fewest points per game. This is a good defense.
Yeah.
There will be so many carries to go around in this backfield. I promise you, Javonte was already the running back 17 in a terrible offense last year. If Melvin is gone, lock in Javonte as a top 5 running back, guaranteed this year. He was my RB2, still my RB2 in Dynasty. Nothing changed for Javonte, but I think that it helped me feel even more
confident,
even safer about him.
Yeah.
And by the way, something really quick on Jerry Jeudy. The worst case scenario for a Jerry Jeudy owner was that there was another year of Drew Lock, of Teddy B, of just some mediocre quarterback, and you not really knowing what his true ceiling is in the NFL. There will be no questions after this year. You will know exactly what you have.
People will come in with confidence, will draft him with confidence, knowing that Russell Wilson is there. Even if he's not the number one guy, let's say Cortland turns out to be the number one guy, you know that Russell Wilson likes to use the wide receiver too. We saw that with DK and Tyler Lockett. You know, maybe he's a Tyler Lockett in that offense. However they're going to utilize him, I think either way.
It can't get worse, though. It will get better.
It cannot get worse.
So let me ask you then, who was your biggest loser in Dynasty from this trade?
Right. Look, I mean, I just said his name, and that was DK Metcalf for me. And look, I know a lot of people may disagree with this, and that's okay. You should probably go back and watch our buy or sell video and to tell you why, because we kind of predicted that Russell was not going to be there or was going to be there, and my prediction came out right, and Russ is no longer with the Seattle Seahawks. So for me, DK is the biggest loser. I do believe DK could be a QB dependent wide receiver. I know he's talented. He came out of college. He was big, fast. He is crazy. He's a monster. He's different. I understand. Okay. And I understand that a lot of people are going to go back and look at what he did with Geno Smith from weeks 6 to 8. I mean, in the video, like I said, I was like, any backup quarterback can have a couple good weeks, so it's not that I don't want to invest in DK. I just see a massive drop in production moving forward until he gets a stable quarterback. And trust me, I don't want Drew Luck there. I don't want Geno being the starter. Maybe if they have a rookie quarterback, if they get a Malik, a Pickett, if they get Deshaun, that's a whole different conversation now. Okay, but right now, from where I'm sitting, all the information that I know, DK is the biggest loser because I do believe he could be QB dependent. He drops significantly for me in my rankings.
Let me just throw out a scenario there. There is a very real possible, because Pete Carroll's still here, guys. Okay, Pete Carroll's still here. So you have to keep in mind, they just got a ton of draft picks.
Exactly.
What are they going to use with those draft picks? I just want to throw that in people's minds. I personally feel like DK, now there's a buy low window. I just wanted to make sure people know where I stand with DK. I'm still team DK. He moved down only one spot in my rankings. He was my 6. He's now my wide receiver 7 after this news.
Okay, look, he was my 6. So he moved down 4. He's my wide receiver 10. He's still my top 10. I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt because I know how talented he is. The quarterback play is going to be tremendous for DK, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just betting on that talent long term. Still such a young player, guaranteed to get a long term contract somewhere. So I'm still team DK. All right, my biggest loser from the trade.
Kind of like you, actually, right here, right now.
Kind of like me today with the news from the Washington Commanders getting Carson Wentz. The biggest loser in this trade is the Seahawks fans. The Seahawks fans are the biggest losers in this trade. And I don't mean that in a bad way towards you guys. It's just like, this is devastating. I feel the pain of Seattle. I feel what you guys are going through right now. Were they too cocky back in like the 2013 to 2015, timeline where was Seattle fans a little bit frustrating to talk to? Maybe, right? But every team who has every fan who has an amazing team is going to have confidence.
No doubt about it.
And the other teams who don't have that are going to be annoyed by it, right? So I feel for the Seahawks fans. You think about it. Russ is the creme de la creme of Seattle professional sports. Who meant more to the city as a professional athlete? Name one player who meant more to the city, because I can't think of anyone. I mean, maybe Ken Griffey Jr., but did he have the same impact? Probably not.
It was the way Russ came up, honestly. Like, he was a nothing. He became one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I was like, wow, we did a Tom Brady in the draft type vibe, even though he's not Tom Brady. But, they got
in the third round.
A hidden gem.
Yeah, so I just want to extend a virtual hug maybe to all the Seahawks fans out there, because I feel for you. I mean, I've been rooting for a team that's been mediocre for my entire life in Washington. Thank God I lived in Kansas City for a time.
I can picture,
so I can actually watch a good team.
I can picture in like maybe a month or two down the road, the comments, we got Deshaun Watson, so we're okay.
Yeah. For sure.
Something like that.
And then like I'm sitting at my, watching the games and watching Carson Wentz throw 5 interceptions versus the Eagles and thinking, we really paid anything for this? This is not supposed to be about Carson Wentz. All right, so let's actually talk about a couple other players I wanted to mention, and one of them is Albert O. The Twitter sphere, the Dynasty Twitter sphere, is going crazy about Albert O. So I just wanted to give our quick thoughts about him. Look, Albert O, Noah Fant is gone, so he becomes a tight end 1.
Yep.
He is 6'5", almost 260, selected by Denver out of Missouri in the 2020 draft. He ran a 4.49 40-yard dash. A 4.49 at 6'5" and 260. That is crazy. He is now coming into his 3rd season. We saw flashes of greatness, I guess you could say. Like small flashes, but you could see what he could be this year as they started to implement him a little bit more. So what do we like about him coming in, right, from Missouri? The size, the speed, and he was a red zone threat. He had 23 touchdowns in 3 years at Mizzou. Needs to improve as a route runner and also as an overall blocker. However, just the athleticism and speed alone is intriguing to pair with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Does Russell Wilson, is he going to use a tight end like the way George Kittle is used, the way Kelsey? No, like that's not how he utilizes a tight end. They don't get used much, let's say in between the 20s, if that makes sense. But in the red zone, that's when Russ looks towards his tight end. So I think there could be some sort of like Dawson Knox-esque type value for Albert O going forward. He was my tight end 14 or my tight end 23 before the trade in Dynasty. He's now my tight end 14, purely based off of the unknowns, the excitement of him as a player, what we saw from him from college, and pairing up with Russell Wilson. Like, it's interesting, at least to me. I would take him there as the tight end 14.
It is very interesting, and I'm on the opposite side of the community where I'm more hesitant to move up. Albert O, he was my tight end 27. He's my tight end 21. He didn't make my top 20 yet, and I think purely because of the mouths to feed there. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Devontae Williams is a pass-catching back, and if Melvin stays, is a pass-catching back. So I'm a little bit hesitant to move him up and say, you know what, Albert O is going to be someone that's going to contribute immediately to this offense. I think that was a big question mark when Noah Fant was there. Oh, well, there's kind of too many mouths to feed already where Cortland was coming back. No, I mean, it was the conversation the year before when Cortland tore his ACL was that Noah Fant should be the leader. He was going to get all the workload, and Jerry Jeudy was there as well. Because no one expected Tim Patrick to take this massive leap in production. So it wasn't even a massive leap, just any work in production where he was getting. So for me right now, Albert O is somebody that I'm hesitant on. Maybe as we get closer into the season, we hear more stuff. Maybe somebody gets hurt, tears an ACL in the preseason or whatever the case may be, which I really hope that doesn't happen. But if something like that happens, then we can have a conversation, a true conversation with Albert O. But I would rather stray away from investing in him and putting up in my rankings.
The tight ends that I look at, I look at him. He's a 24-year-old tight end. He's got the athleticism. So now maybe some opportunities. And I guess like the way I look at him is almost the way Pat was used last year. Like I said, Dawson Knox. Like he doesn't need this is going to be a good offense. So I don't feel like he needs 5 catches a game. Even if he has 4 catches a game and one of those is a touchdown every other game, that's a top 10 finish from a tight end. So I agree, though. There is a lot of mouths to feed, but it's hard for me to find 21 tight ends I would take over him. I agree maybe 14 might be too high. Let's talk about Noah Fant.
Yeah, let's talk. I was going to say it's hard to put all these other guys around him, but yeah, I'm down to talk about Noah Fant because this is a guy that's an interesting conversation for sure.
It is interesting. I find it really difficult to move Noah Fant down drastically. I see a lot of people who are just completely out on him, but he didn't change as a talent. Like he's still a first round drafted tight end for good reason, right?
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy, but he still has a first round draft capital there from Denver. So his situation, he goes from being an offense with a terrible quarterback and way too many weapons to an offense with a terrible quarterback, but similar weapons.
Right.
So I don't know that the situation improves all that much, but it changes. And the way that he's going to be utilized changes, right? So it's not obviously ideal having Drew Lock. I don't think he's the plan for their future, obviously. You're talking about a guy who is, 24 years old and Noah Fant, 2 years left on his contract. I mean, purely based on talent, I can't move him down. I can't move him down based off the age, based off what we've seen from him so far. I still think he's a top 10 tight end. Has that potential at least. I'm drafting him as tight end 11.
Okay.
And I've been drafting him as tight end 11, so it hasn't changed for me.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same. I didn't move him up in my rankings. He's my tight end. He's my tight end 15, and he was already low as is, just based on the quarterback play. And I think my biggest question right now, the reason why I didn't move him, I didn't want to go straight into moving him in my rankings, was purely because we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Is Drew really the answer? Are they going to do the 1 year with Drew and then hope to get a quarterback in the 2023 draft? Are they going to invest in a quarterback this year? Does Malik or Pickett go? Maybe that could be a good conversation, and maybe that's where I could be happy taking Noah Fant and moving Noah Fant up in my rankings. Or if it's just going to be some random that, is it Deshaun Watson? Are they going to go for another? Jordan Love hypothetically gets traded. I don't know. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
There's so many question marks leading up for the Seattle Seahawks, for Noah Fant, and who's going to be running the show. And I think I would rather wait, pause. Let's take it slow. Let's see what the organization does. Let them move first, then we move.
This is definitely not the time to trade Noah Fant away.
100%.
This is not the time to trade off of Noah Fant if you have him, by the way. And maybe it is a time to trade high. I mean, by the way, Albert O, some people have him already in their top 7 of rankings. So maybe if you have someone in your league who views him that way, you can trade off the hype. But all right, I think we did our best to kind of wrap this up. Hopefully Tyler Lockett gets traded. I'm just trying to think about everybody involved. I think they're going to trade him soon. So yeah, I think that's everything that we could have covered. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.